everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make the matching skirt to the flower bralette that I just released in my previous video. So if you haven't yet tried out this beautiful flower bralette, guys, make sure after this video you go check it out so that you can make yourself a matching set. So for the materials, I used this yarn. This is Alize Cotton Gold. It is a blend of cotton and acrylic. And just to give you a few details, each ball of this is 100 grams and 361 yards. I used about 3 balls for the size medium that I made for my sample. And then the hook that I am using for this project is a 3mm. You also need a measuring tape. The measurement that we are going to consider for this design is your hip circumference. So make sure you have that. And then you will also need a darning needle, and then a pair of scissors, some stitch markers, those are optional. And then you'll also need an elastic strand to kind of gather your skirt to make it well fitted around the waist, since the main body is worked well considering the hip circumference. So that's all for the materials, and this is the beautiful color that we are going to use for our design. So 3 balls of yarn for size medium, and just consider about 3 to 5 balls for the larger sizes, maybe 4 balls or 5 balls. And yeah, let's get started. The written pattern is already available on all my online shops, and I'll be leaving a link in the description box below. So you're going to start off with a slip knot. You're going to yarn over like this, insert your hook. Sorry, it's raining, that's why you see dots of water. I can't work well, this window is closed. So yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through. So you're going to make a chain that's long enough to run from your waistline all the way down to where you want your ruffle to sit. So this is going to be the very first version of this skirt, and then we shall be modifying it to get different designs. But this is going to be the best piece. So this is a slip knot, and you're going to make a long chain that measures from your waistline up to where you want your ruffle to start. And for me, I did a total of 43 chains. Alright guys, now I have my 43 chains, and this looks a little short, but the fact that the ruffle is going to sit at the base of the skirt, I don't want to make this so long. So if I take a measurement here, I have about 9 inches without stretching, but when stretched, it can get to about 11 inches. I don't want to overstretch it because this is literally the height of the skirt before the ruffle, and definitely the skirt is going to be pulled sideways. So I don't want to bank on this height so much. If you want it longer, make sure you make more chains. So you're going to make a chain of 1 and half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the second chain from the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all. That's a half double crochet stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all. You're going to continue to do this, half double crochet in each and every chain all the way across until the end of the row. All right, so we're coming to the end of the very first row, and I'm still placing 1 half double crochet in each and every chain until the end of the row. So this is what your row 1 will look like. So this design is worked like this. So somehow we're just going to create a very long panel that can wrap around the hips when stretched. So we're going on to row 2. You're going to make a chain of 1, turn your work, half double crochet in the very first stitch because the chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. So continue to half double crochet in each and every stitch, going into both the top loops of the stitch below. We're not going into the back loop only or anything like that. We're going into both loops of the stitch. So you yarn over, go under both loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all. So half double crochet in each and every stitch across. So the number of stitches that you had for row 1, for example, mine was 43. I should be having the same exact number of stitches for row 2 and all the rows to come for this portion of the skirt. So we're coming to the end of row 2, placing 1 half double crochet in each and every stitch. So don't forget to go into the very last stitch with 1 half double crochet, and that marks the end of row 2. This is how your work should look like. Now we're going on to the next row, which is row 3. So from now onwards, we're basically repeating row 2. So you just make a chain of 1, turn your work, and half double crochet once in each and every stitch from the previous row. Okay, so you see that? So go ahead and finish up row 3. Alright guys, we are done with row 3, and we're going to keep working the same exact row, which is row 2, until our panel grows and can fully stretch to our hip circumference. So this is what we have right now, but we are going to consider this when stretched. For now, you can't see the difference much because there's still just a few rows, but as you keep working, your work will start being stretchy, and you're going to make sure that this panel grows to a panel that can stretch to your hip circumference. So let me go ahead and just keep repeating row 2 again and again until I get to that point, and I'll be back to show you what to do next, and also to show you how to do the shaping of the skirt. All right, so I ended up doing a total of 102 rows in order to get my hip circumference when fully stretched. Mark my words, when fully stretched. Make sure you fully stretch your work. So for me, I did a total of 102 rows in order to get this. And yeah, remember the starting chain was about 9 inches. So we're going to go on to the next step, and the next step is to join this piece into a round. And to do that, we are going to join these open sides. You're going to just fold over your work like this, and we're going to join this, and we're going to have a seam line. This will mark the middle back seam line of our skirt. And to do that, after your last row, you're going to make a chain of 1, and we're going to start attaching both sides together. So you get into one of the stitches here and into the stitch on this side and make a slip stitch. Go into the next stitch and the stitch on this side and make a slip stitch. So that's all that we are going to do all the way across. So you can either use a single crochet or a slip stitch, or you can even use a darning needle to join these sides together, whichever you prefer. So for me, I'm going to use a slip stitch and keep joining the stitches together. So remember, on this side you're going to have a foundation chain, and then on this side you're going to have stitches. Just make sure you don't skip any of those stitches. Make sure you go into each and every stitch, and this is what we are going to end up with, something that looks like this. So I'm going to just continue joining the two sides together. If you don't like the look of the slip stitch, you can use a darning needle and just sew everything together. Through with joining stitch to stitch, and this is what the wrong side of our work is going to look like. Now when it comes to the right side, we have a much neater finish without a bump. So this is going to be the right side of our work, and this is going to be the wrong side. So we're going to flip over our work to the right side where we don't have that bump. And as I had mentioned, the line along which we join is going to be the back seam, the middle back seam of our skirt. So you're going to place your work like this so that the line here, the seam line, is centered at the back of the skirt. So we're going to go onto our ruffles, and in order to create the ruffles, we're going to first clean up the bottom edge of our skirt with a half double crochet stitch, and then we start the ruffles of our design. So we're going to first work the bottom ruffle, and then we shall come back up a little bit and create the overlapping ruffle. And the side where you have your yarn attached is going to be the bottom side of the skirt. So to do this, to start creating our ruffles, you're going to make a chain of 1. And as I had mentioned, we're going to first clean up the bottom edge with a half double crochet round, and then we start on our ruffles. So after a chain of 1, in the first row of half double crochets, you're going to place 1 half double crochet. And then in the next row, you're going to place 2 half double crochets. And that's going to be the repeat of the round all the way around. 1 half double in the next row, and then 2 half doubles in the next. 1 half double in the next, and then 2 half doubles in the next row. So keep doing this all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. Alright guys, we're coming to the end of the round, the half double crochet round. And I am placing my last half double crochet in the last row. It doesn't matter whether you end with an increase or 1 stitch, just slip stitch into the very first half double crochet of the round. And that way we have cleaned up the base of our skirt. Now it's time for us to start creating our ruffles. And for this round, you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet. And into the same exact stitch, you're going to place 1 double crochet. That counts as 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So you're going to go all the way around, placing 2 double crochets in each and every stitch of this round. 2 double crochets in each stitch, all the way around until you come back to the beginning of the round, and I'll show you how to wind up and what to do next. So for round 2, 2 double crochets in each and every stitch from the previous round. So you can see the fold is already forming. It may not be very visible right now, but as we keep going, you will notice that we are actually creating increases at the base of the skirt, and this should start creating curves. Two double crochets in each and every stitch from the previous round. So if your work starts looking like this, this is exactly what we want. We want to start creating those ruffles, those beautiful ruffles at the base of the skirt. So go all the way around, and I'll show you how to wind up and do round 3. So guys, this is what I was talking about. You should notice that the ruffles are starting to form, and they're blending in so well with my phone case. I love the color. It's blending in so well with my current project. So we're coming to the end of round 2, and you can see how the ruffles are behaving. And I'm placing my last 2 double crochets in the last stitch from the previous round. And then you're going to slip stitch on top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round. And that marks the end of round 2. Round 3 is going to be quite different. You're going to make a chain of 3, and that counts as a double crochet. Into the same space where the chain 3 is coming from, you're going to go in there with another double crochet. So that counts as 2 double crochets in the very first stitch. Place 2 double crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and into the next stitch you're going to place 1 double crochet. So that's the repeat for this round. 2 double crochets in the next, 2 double crochets in the next, and then 1 double crochet in the next. So you're going to repeat this all the way around. 2 2 1 2 2 1. So 2 in the next, 2 double crochets in this one, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet into the next. So you're going to repeat this all the way around. This may take a while, definitely, but trust me, the results are worth it. So be patient with yourself and take off some time to follow these instructions in order to get the best ruffles. So 2 in this one, 2 in the next, and then 1 in the next. So these are double crochet rounds, but we kind of play around with the placement or the increases of the double crochets in order to create a specific kind of effect on the ruffles. So go all the way around, and I'll meet you back towards the end of the round and show you what to do next. All right, so this is the effect that the third round is going to create. You can see the ruffles are much more defined and visible and deeper. So go all the way around. I'll meet you back at the end. All right, so we've come to the end of round 3, and I've ended with 2 double crochets in the very last stitch. Doesn't matter what you end with. Just end your round, and once you place what you're supposed to place in the last stitch, whether it's 1 double crochet or 2 double crochets, just slip stitch into the top of the first chain 3 of the round. And this is what round 3 will look like. Now we're going on to round 4, and this is going to be a non-increase round. And from now on, we're just going to make plain rounds of double crochet stitches. So you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then go into each of the next stitches with 1 double crochet. Just place 1 double crochet in each and every stitch around, and once you get to the end of the round, you just make a slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 of the round, and then make a chain of 3 and repeat this round. From now on, we're just making plain rounds of double crochet stitches, and I'll let you know how many plain rounds that I'll end up making for my ruffle. So from round 4 onwards, just keep making plain rounds of double crochet stitches again and again until you get your desired length of ruffle for your skirt. So this is what your ruffle would look like. So all the shaping of the ruffle has been done at round 2 and 3, and now from 4 onwards we're just going to lengthen what we already have. Alright guys, we ended up doing a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 rounds of double crochet stitches, and the thickness of my ruffle is about 3.5 inches, something like this. It's almost 3.5 inches, and that's fine. And after this ruffle, we're going to first do the first version, which is just one single ruffle. So you're going to get an elastic strand and measure off your waistline circumference when slightly stretched. So the waistline circumference that I am considering for my piece is 26 inches. And you can see this is 26 inches without the stretch. You see that? So I want to take off about 4 inches. 26 minus 4 is about 22. And I'm going to cut it from this point. Or I'm going to just go ahead and tie it at this point where it was less by 4 inches from my waistline circumference. I'm going to just tie it. If you have a thicker elastic strand, then you're going to try to sew it together when it's about 4 inches less than your waistline circumference. So I'm going to cut off the excess. Alright guys, we've created a round, and you can see right now this measures about 10 inches without stretching. That means it will go up to about 20 inches without stretching. Yes, because we are considering the circumference of the waist. So as I keep working the top round, I'm going to keep stretching it out a little bit so that it can fit around the waistline perfectly well. So you can see this, but it can stretch to this or even beyond. So our main aim is to get something well fitted around the waist, and this is the elastic strand that I'm going to be using while cleaning up the top edge of my skirt. All right, so you're going to get your elastic strand and also get your yarn that you used for the body of the skirt, or whatever yarn that you're going to use at the top here. All right, so you're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to attach your yarn while working around the elastic strand as well. So into the very first row, attach your yarn, while working around the elastic strand. So we're going to do a single crochet round. So into the same row, I'm going to place a single crochet, and then keep single crocheting in each and every row once. So you can see what I'm doing. One single crochet while wrapping around the elastic strand. So I made sure that the knot that I made is here, and I've started the final round at the back of the skirt where we have the seam line. So continue to single crochet in each and every row once, and when you feel like you're running out of the elastic strand, or when you make about, like, let me say 30 stitches or 20 stitches, you gather your skirt a little bit. So just like we have here, you can see this is flat, but look at what's left, and it has to cover all the way around. So as you keep working, keep pulling on the elastic strand a little bit so that it can start creating the gatherings at the top of the skirt, because when you wait until the end, it's not going to be evenly distributed. So after a few stitches, about 20 stitches, you pull on the elastic strand just a little bit to create some sort of gatherings, as you can see here. So you just pull on it just slightly so that it can start creating that cinch in, the cinched waist, so that we can create a snatched look around the waist. Remember, what we considered here was the hip circumference when fully stretched. So what we are trying to do here is to gather it back so that this can fit around the waistline, which is usually smaller than the hip circumference. So you can see what we have. This is exactly what we want to get. So go in each and every row, placing one single crochet while working around the elastic strand, and then keep gathering it. Alright guys, we're almost at the end of the round, and you can see here we have a shorter distance on the elastic strand than the actual skirt. Now at this point, I'm going to stop pulling on the elastic strand. I'm just going to go into each of the remaining rows, just placing one single crochet in each and every row. Just make sure by the time you come to the end of the elastic strand, you don't have a bulge or you don't have an excess of the elastic strand. That's our main aim. All right, so we've come to the end, and I'm trying to fix a few stitches here so that I can wrap up the elastic strand, and then slip stitch into the very first single crochet of the round. Make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. So let's see what the elastic strand has done for our piece. Now at this point, I'm going to just make a double knot for these two tails for the final round. Okay, try to push the elastic strand and hide it. If you can't, just leave it. It's on the wrong side of the work. So look what we have. Before, we had a very large opening around the waistline, and now we have tamed it to be able to fit around our waistline. So this is what our skirt looks like. So you can leave it like this, or you can do a double layered crochet ruffle skirt, as I'll be showing you in my next video. But for now, let me leave it at this, because I know very well that so many people may like this one, and then I'll modify it to get something quite different for the next version. So thanks for watching guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye.